So maybe none of you remember this event back then in 15 January 1974 when the Prime Minister of Japan, Tanaka, come to Jakarta, Indonesia. They burn all Japan's cars. And what make our society from there to here 30 years later is called soft power. This is Jakarta anyway. All of them are Indonesians. They held an event of Japan's culture festival. It's called soft power. Is there anyone in here not knowing both characters? Everyone's know, yeah? That's good. So I'm Ivan. I'm CEO of Anantorpa Studios. It's a game developer company in Indonesia. And we have been creating a lot of things since we started, like the first augmented reality museum in Indonesia, the first VR museum platform. In 2014, the first VR tourism platform in 2015, and the last one is the first esport games from Indonesia. Okay, so we have to know about what's the differences between Industry 4.0, because the term is, like Indonesian is lata banget. Everyone just slap 4.0 behind their terms, right? And creative industry. So for short, we have been through 3 stages of civilizations. The first, agricultural economy. The second one is industrial economy, actually. So there are a lot of industrial / technology iterations, starting from late 15th centuries. That's why I call it don't trust McKinsey research, because they're wrong. The first industrial machine is in 15th centuries, not the steam machine. And one thing is, every iterations needs disruptions and shifting. They tend to create, at the first iterations, they created labor out of 4 classes. Do you know all the 4 classes in the world? In Chinese, they have 4 pillars. In Indonesia, they have catur warna. In Japan, they have another 4 classes from government, military or police, and economic class or arts. And the last one is farmers, most likely. When they created the labors, the iteration itself tend to decrease the labors for every iteration. That's why more and more poverty and unemployment created from these iterations. But in other part of the world, we have creative economy as soft power, and for new economic power. It is how to convert cultural values into economical values. Okay, on the left is there are the sectors of creative economy. And you can see this is School Japan strategy. So this is creative strategy, which we don't have in Indonesia right now. It's revolving around film, novel, games, drama, manga, toys, everything regarding stories and characters. These are the sectors. The sectors now called content sectors or cultural content industry. And why game industry? Because game industry is now the leading digital industry in the world. Not to confuse with startups. They have great valuations, but they don't have the money. They burn money, yes, but they don't have the actual money. That's what happened with some national corporate recently, right? So one of the games genre this year, they created 20 billion US dollar. That's almost the whole pendapatan domestik bruto ya from kuliner Indonesia. And if you can see in a mobile games revenue 2 years ago, we don't have the winners actually. It's just how you make the money because the top one creating like almost 2 billion US dollar in that same year, and Pokemon Go is ranked ninth, yeah, almost 900 million US dollar annually. Last year, Pokemon Go have a 1.2 billion US dollar in revenue. And then in China, they stated that games may be their best cultural export, of course. And in Korea, maybe most of you don't know about this. The games, their games export is actually 11 times of K-pop music. So it's huge. And that's leading to China banning Korean game developers to enter the Chinese market. It's been 2 years. How big it is? So this is the world game market. Last year is 137 billion US dollar with growth rate 13%. And it is led by mobile games, which has 29% year-on-year growth. And Indonesia, surprisingly, we have the most compound annual growth rate because in creative industry, because it is new, all the ones that matters is the growth. And for example, 3 years ago, on the left is Indonesian film market. It was 280 million US dollar in that year, particular year. But game industry already 704 million US dollar and ranked 17 in the world. Okay, these are the Indonesian's gaming revenue, gaming market from year to year. From 2015 to 2018, increased almost 4 times or 400%. And almost 46% the gamers are female. Surprisingly, but here lies the problem. The problem is only 0.2% revenue are from Indonesian developers. I think we, Indonesian as a country now, we are facing the biggest deficit in our times, right? Not only in gaming industry, but in textile. If you read the news recently, and that's because the policy of importing is importing stuff, goods. Let's say the government give you incentive if you can import stuff, not to create stuff. That's why we have such big deficits. And in the world itself, gaming, not only entertainment industry, it creates a lot of solutions from health. They found the cure to HIV. And then if you know Uber or Ford and Google's LiDAR, the self-driving car, they train the technology using gaming engine. And the latest AI, artificial intelligence, are born inside one of the gaming platform, Dora. And this is for national branding. So the Prime Minister of Poland gave a gift, like diplomacy gift to Obama, The Witcher. Now, why choosing game with cultural aspect or story? Okay, so previously, I always call it the story that changed the fate of a nation. In 1986, Meiji Restoration, if you remember correctly, one of the classes in Japan are banished. It's the samurai class, okay? Because Portuguese had some urge to export their weapons to Japan. So they said, okay, you don't need all those samurais. You have a lot of people power down there, the farmers. You can train them, give them handguns, and then rifle, and then you have your own army. That leads to the defeat of Japan in Luzon in 1904, where the Japanese army, they have their own apa ya, benteng, like for fortifications, and they have logistic, but they ran away from their posts against Russian army, despite the Russian army didn't have logistic anymore, right? So they realized that they lost something. They lost some spirit of them. And then in 1908, they imported some ideology from US, from America actually. It was called Bushido. It was written in America by Inazoni Tobe and translated to Japan in 1908, but it didn't work. Why? Because none of them have adequate educations to understand the philosophical context. And then in 1911, they created a fictional characters called Musashi, which actually a physical form or an icon from that ideas of Bushido, right? But that also didn't work. Why? Because they built a biography of Musashi, which none of them will read. But later in 1930, they created a novel. This is the first creative economy or creative industry products of Japan. They created a novel that everyone read back then. And then Japan arose from the ashes. And that's the original Musashi. It's bald, old, right? And this is the Musashi in 1930. According to the context of that time, that samurai must be rough, never take shower, stuff like that. And then this is the Musashi for millennials. So the shape are different, but the values is the same. Okay, so how many of you still playing Pokemon Go? No, okay, good. That's good. But if you look into the whole industry, creative industry is not disrupting anyone. They enrich another sectors. So in the whole industry creates almost 300 trillion rupiah in 2013. This is my research. We have what is called spin top, yeah, gassing, yeah. We have gassing. We have 6,000. One of them as old as 6,000 years. Okay, but if you look at Tokopedia, the price no more than maybe 10,000 rupiah. Japan, in other hand, they can create similar gassing. The cost is their price will be like $15 because they create the story and characters. It's branding. It's the storytelling that creates the values, right? It's also the same from samurai to Gundam. It even the Gundam even have the same, you know, what is called chomage. Okay, and their value is increasing over time. So I'd like to introduce the born of our latest product. It's actually the first e-sport, because if you know, our deficit is quite high, and the government is not stopping. They still encourage imported games. Like last time, mobile games, the mobile PL President Cup is from China, Mobile Legend. And for next year, they supported another Chinese game, Free Fire. We try to fight that back with our products. So this is the result of our research on our culture and heritage. On the concept, you can ask me later, okay? These are the sneak peek preview actually. We haven't shared this to any media now. So our goal is, we have, in terms of creative economy, creative industry, we have around mountain of gold, right? They need to be told in stories, in another product, in other medias, to create a soft power, to create cultural diplomacy, and the last, not least, to create a new economic power for Indonesia. Okay, so for me, creative strategy is cultural strategy. Thank you.